Okay, time to begin. Right, so functions of blood. So it's three different ones: transportation, regulation, protection. We won't go into any more than that. Pretty straightforward. The physical characteristics of blood, so it's 38 degrees, neutral pH, dark red, if it has low oxygen content. Lovely cherry red if it doesn't. How much of the ECF is blood? So it's 20%, 8% of body mass, and the blood volume is sex-linked based on EPO and testosterone production. What are the most important hormones? We've mentioned all of those before. Two components of blood: plasma and formed elements. And formed elements are cells and cell fragments. The cell fragments being your platelets, right? What is the consequence of using a centrifuge? So you spin it in a centrifuge, the heavy bits sink to the bottom, plasma to the top, and in the middle is this buffy coat. And this buffy coat is formed of white blood cells and platelets, and it's less than 1% of the total blood. If you remove all the formed elements, boom, remember we've said that blood is plasma and formed elements, what remains? The plasma. Now 90% of it's water, the rest are solutes, okay? Of those solutes, 7% are proteins and 1.5% are other solutes. Now those proteins include three big ones: albumins, globulins, fibrinogens. Albumins are transport, globulins, if they're gamma, are antibodies. If they're alpha beta, then they are transports for lipid, hormones, for iron. Fibrinogens involved in the clotting factor, right? And then of the other solutes, you've got your nutrients, gases, waste products, electrolytes. So the formed elements are divided into platelets, quite a lot of them, white blood cells, quite a lot less of them, and that's your buffy coat. Red blood cells, a butt ton of them, right? Of the white blood cells, what are they divided into? Neutrophils, lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophils, basophils. There's loads of them, right? There's loads of them. Now, which cells in the body secrete the majority of the blood plasma proteins? Hepatocytes, right? Gamma globins are your antibodies, as we've gone to, the immunoglobulins. So what are some of the common waste products seen in blood plasma? Loads. Note bilirubin, note ammonia, note creatinine. So detail the functions of the proteins present in the plasma. So albumin, transport, steroids, hormones. Globulin, developed from B cells if it's gamma. Alpha and beta transport ions, lipids, and fat-soluble vitamins. Fibrinogen, the clotting cascade, right? Electrolytes are your cations, your anions, maintaining osmotic pressure, vital for cellular homeostasis. Our white blood cells are granulocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, and agranulars, T cells, B cells, monocytes. Hematocrit of 40 is how much of your blood volume is red blood cells. Remember we said there's a butt ton. So in this case, patient's got a hematocrit of 40. That's male. Now it's higher in men than women, right? Why? Because testosterone stimulates EPO production. And women have significant drops on the regular due to the menses. So here's the three granulocytes: neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils. What does a drop in hematocrit indicate? Anemia. Converse, polycythemia. With polycythemia, you're thinking about increased viscous, you're thinking about increased cardiac workload, you're thinking about increased risk of thrombogenesis, strokes, SCA and all that jazz. Outline the causes of polycythemia, so abnormal increases in red blood cell production from tissue hypoxia or dehydration or EPO doping. Now, haematopoiesis. So your mesenchymal pluripotent stem cell is found in the spongy bone, long bone, right? You can go myeloid or lymphoid. There's two lineages. Erythropoiesis gives us a proerythroblast, drench it with EPO, becomes an erythroblast, it's nucleated, it has organelles. Whop out the nucleus, you get a reticulocyte, give it more EPO, you whop out the Golgi, the endoplasmic reticulum, and the few remaining organelles, and we get an anuclear, A-organelle red blood cell, or red corpuscle, or red blood corpuscle, or erythrocyte. So thrombopoiesis forms thrombocytes, which is the posh term for a platelet. You get a megakaryoblast, give it TPO. Thrombopoietin, you get a megakaryocyte. But them off with TPO, you get a platelet. Now leukopoiesis is more complicated. Colony-forming unit, granular or monocyte. So colony-stimulating factor can go down the granular site or the monocyte lineage, which will form a myeloblast or a monoblast. If it's a myeloblast, these three factors to give us a neutrophilic myelocyte, eosinophilic myelocyte, basophilic myelocyte. Keep giving it to give us our neutrophil, eosinophil, or basophil. Keep giving MCSF to a monoblast to give us a monocyte. Now lymphoid leukopoiesis is B lymphoblast. Give them those three. B cell, T cell, NK cell. Right? How are red blood cells broken down? Right, so Kupffer cells and splenic macrophages digest the old red blood cells. Hemoglobin is released where it's divided. Heme is split. Ferrous, which is the 2+, and protoporphyrin. Everything else is recycled. Protoporphyrin, hemoxygenase to biliverdin, and then biliverdin reductase to unconjugated bilirubin, lipophilic hydrophobic, so it needs a chaperone, right? Unconjugated bilirubin binds albumin, so it can move to the liver. At the liver, UGT sticks. Albumin is dropped off, and UGT sticks GA on. Now conjugated. It's now hydrophilic. It moves in the biliary system to the large intestine where bacteria whop off GA and cause it to become urobilinogen. Now, urobilinogen has two different fates. Okay, it's either going to be recycled into the enterohepatic and biliary system, where it will remain, or it will be peed out, or it will be pooed out. 85% of cases it's pooed out as stercobilin. Okay, and that's why your poo is brown. 15% go back to the portal system with albumin. Remember, it's lost its GA, therefore it's unconjugated, therefore it's hydrophobic, therefore it needs a carrier to stay in the body. So half of that 15% are recycled, bile, etc., and the other half become urobilin. It's why your pee's yellow. So there's your questions. You could add on to the end steps of haematopoiesis, steps of breaking down red blood cells. Thank you.